It's really amazing to think that this is the last day of the year, of the decade. And when you think things like this, you think, what am I going to do in 2020? What am I going to do next decade? What are going to be the different things that I accomplish? So that's why in this video, I wanted to do two things. The first thing I want to do is share with you my New Year's resolutions just to help give you inspiration. But the other thing I want to do is help you with approaching this the right way. Because you hear about a lot of people who they're super committed when it comes to like January, but when it comes to March and April, a lot of those goals have faded away. So that's why it's really important to set goals that you feel like you can do, because what a lot of people do is they'll set these astronomical goals. Like if they have like, let's say they make $100 from this income stream or whatever it may be, they're thinking, okay, I want to make $100,000 from the same income stream every month by the end of 2020. So you don't want to set your goals up so high to the point where you get intimidated, to the point where they feel so big that they may not happen. It's better to set a smaller goal so that when you do accomplish it, it builds momentum. So just an example for me, one of the things that I did on Twitter was set the goal. At some point, I had a 5-year plan to hit 100,000 followers, and I did that in 3. The reason being is that I set smaller goals along the way that seemed a lot more achievable. And even if you don't know all this stuff now, you can figure out the stuff later on. You can do research, like the algorithm can like you if social media is what you're trying to master. But understand, even if you don't have the knowledge now, it is something you could build up going into 2020. That's why I recommend doing some of the smaller goals. So maybe you want 100,000 followers, but what you should do instead is set a smaller goal that you definitely hit. And then by doing the work to hit that goal, you can actually expand a lot more than you thought, and maybe even hit 100,000 in a year. Who knows? But the idea here is to set some of these smaller goals that you feel like are more achievable, and then being able to build up from there. So with that in mind, I'm going to share with you some of the resolutions I set for myself in 2020. The one I've been talking about the most has been to write my 50th book. So far, I'm at like 25 books. So I'm literally doubling the amount of books that I write like in 1 year that I've written my entire life. That may seem like a far out there goal, but this is going to be the first year where I'm no longer a school student. I've done middle school, high school, college, while growing the channel, while writing books, while doing everything that you know me for what you know me for. But it's going to be the first year where I'm actually able to embrace it full time. I've already been able to get that writing habit down. It's something that I've been able to get down in the summer, but then when the schedule changes, that's when the habits kind of fall a little bit. But that's not going to happen this year because now I'm full time. And I've already been able to write 2 books in December. One of them, Build Your Authority Platform, which has been doing pretty good. And then the other one, How to Retire from Dividend Investing. This is more based on some of the later content I've been posting on my channel. People have been liking it, so I decided to write a book around dividend investing just to provide that extra value. So that is my resolution number 1. The second resolution is to have at least 1 month where I sell 1,000 books. So this is like a lot of Amazon ads is really going to be fueling this. It's something I've been using a lot more lately to promote my books. It's been working very well. If you go really deep into Amazon ads, it does take like maybe a month or 2. It takes some time to see like a profit, but that's dependent on, if you create a ton of ads, you need all those ads to like have time to actually make a profit, because Amazon still has to figure out what to rank your books for. So that's the thing for any author out there who's figuring out how to get more sales using Amazon ads. There's a lot of patience in it. It's create a ton of ads. It's not like Facebook where a lot of people, they just have a few ads that they manage. Like on Amazon advertising, like if you combine all the different regions, I usually have like 1,000 different ads running up. That's just the nature of Amazon ads. A lot of people can't even think about that scenario with Facebook ads or Google ads, but Amazon ads, it's very common to have 1,000 different ads running, or like just a few hundred ads, but they have hundreds and hundreds of keywords. So you're literally ranking for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different keywords by the time you have all this set up. So those are my goals related to the book, books that I'm doing. I also have goals related to YouTube. So my goal for this channel is to get it to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. Is it a goal that, I believe I could hit? I definitely believe I could hit it. Is it, like you could say like, go for like a really big number, like 100,000, I'll be full time and stuff like that. But again, I don't want to set too big of a number and then feel like, oh, how am I going to hit this thing? While 10,000 feels a lot more reasonable, you can hit 10,000 a lot earlier. And then if you accomplish your New Year's resolution in like June or July or like super early, it's like, wow, I want to get after this thing a lot more than what I've been currently doing. And then you see a lot more momentum. So 10,000 subscribers for this channel by the end of the year. That's the resolution. The other goal that I have I started 3 separate YouTube channels in addition to this one, all of them based on my podcast, because what happens is I do 2 breakthrough success episodes each week. I do 2 ditch the job episodes each week. I do 1 profitable public speaking episode each week. So think about all of those videos coming on this channel. That's just way too much content for anyone to keep up with. So I decided to create separate channels. Some of you may like the public speaking. Some of you may like the ditch the job aspect. Some of you may like breakthrough success. That's why the channels are separate. The goal for all of those is to hit 1,000 for each of them by the end of the year. The idea behind starting multiple channels is that I can more easily get these channels to like cross promote each other. So like on the breakthrough success channel, I talk about profitable public speaking a little bit. On profitable public speaking, I talk a little about ditch the job. So think about like a collaboration with like 3 separate podcasts that I've created and combine that with this channel. That's the outlook. That's the whole idea behind creating multiple channels. And if you rank on one of them, then it's just so much easier for you to say, hey, I got these other channels, kind of like what I'm doing right now. And then you grow your newer channels, and that helps you in the algorithm, not just with your channel that's taking off, but some of that rubs off on your newer channels as well. So you've got people who may not know about me, but they see like ditch the job, breakthrough success, profitable public speaking in the YouTube search, and then they learn about me, and then they come find this channel to help me on my goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. I just want to share with you a few of the goals that I have in mind, because these are the goals that are designed to inspire you to think about what's possible for you, and at the same time taking a practical approach to this, not trying to do 10 years of work and cram it all into one, but to really think about what you can do right now and being able to put the check marks down, being able to build on your success and achieve more results. So the next goal I have in mind is to host 4 virtual summits in 2020. This is not as crazy of a goal as it sounds, because I hosted 3 of them back in 2019 and took a little bit of a hiatus the second half. So at least 4 virtual summits for me is definitely possible based on the work that I've done, based on my virtual summit expertise. So at least 4 virtual summits. I honestly want to build that into 5, 6, 7, 8, or like do a virtual summit monthly starting from March. But again, I just want to start with 4 so that it doesn't overwhelm you, because if the goals start to overwhelm you in like February, that's when people stop. Like December, like, end of the year, like, things are good in the first week of January. Like, things are good. This is going to be a new year for me. And, it's great to have that mindset. And that can very much happen for a lot of people. The issue is that you think you're going to get a decade's worth of work done in a year. You realize at the end of January, oh, I gave myself a decade's worth of work or whatever it is. And then you're like, oh, I should scale back a little bit, or I should just stop doing this because I don't think it's going to happen. It's like someone going from, and this kind of leads into my next goal, it's like someone going from never running in their life to trying to break 3 hours in a marathon. Like, can it happen? It technically can. It's just very hard to reach that point of like January 1st, you have not done a single run in your life. December 31st, obviously earlier, because unless you actually find one on December 31st, you're breaking 3 in your marathon. So you definitely want to be like, that's like, a few years of planning. So maybe you set like, break 5 hours or break 4:30 or whatever it is to lead up to that point where you break 3 if you want to do that. So speaking of which, my next goal, qualify for the Boston Marathon. That means I have to break 3. I could say that because I've been running for, this is going to be my 8th year of running. I've done a few halves. I've done a few fulls. My half marathon time is 1:25. My full marathon time, I've only done 2 of them. Both of them, mile 21, mile 22 is where I had to just like stop. I finished, but my time just like fell apart. Part of that was because I was just not the first marathon, I just did not intake any electrolytes. The second marathon, I got a little better, but barely did. So, I mean, it's just a matter of just training harder and being smarter with the running IQ and smarter with how I approach the race. So that's why I'm mentioning that. Like, you know, it's possible for me because I've been building up to this moment. It's not like I'm saying on January 1st, I've never run a day in my life. Let's go after this thing. And I'm continuing to emphasize that because people will say the equivalent of, okay, I want to go from I have not run it all to I want to break 3 in the marathon by the end of the year. And they are doing that version like for their businesses. They're doing that version for like their sales projections. They're doing that version for like, you know, what kind of fitness they want to have. I mean, it is possible to go from, you know, like get more fit, but the type of goal you set for yourself, like if you want to go from like not being able to do like more than 5 push-ups to being able to do like 100, 200 push-ups without stopping, it's possible, but it's definitely a lot harder. So you definitely want to factor that in. So that's the only personal goal that I have on this list of goals here. Again, I do feel like I could go into 2020 or even think after this video and be like, I could have added another one. But again, these are just the goals I have in mind right now. It's a sign that, you know, you can add on. This is a great starting point for 2020, like the New Year's resolutions and all that stuff. But you can build on. Like in March, who's to say like I come up with like some new idea that I want to pursue, like Ditch the Job, my latest podcast. I didn't have that anywhere in the 2019 goals because I didn't even think about it. Like in 2019, actually, I think I was still just at breakthrough success. Like profitable public speaking wasn't even a thing. So it's amazing how December 2018, I just have 1 podcast, and then all of a sudden I now have 3. And that is something I did not even think about at New Year's resolutions. So this is just like a great compass. It's a great starting point. But again, with the year progressing, you're going to come across new ideas. You're going to have new goals for yourself. You want to stay focused on a core few New Year's resolutions. So I only have 7 on this sheet of paper that's below me right now, instead of having like 20 or 30 or like the whole life's work, because so much can change within a year. But I know these are going to be the things that do not change. The Boston Marathon, I already am like registered for the marathons that will help me qualify for them. So with that side note over, the next thing that I want to do, actually the final thing on this list, the Breakthrough Success Facebook group, my goal there is to hit 2,000 members. Again, like, you know, I already have 800 people in there. We're just talking about adding 1,200 people. I could have said, oh, let's make this like, you know, 5,000 people, 10,000 people who I want to add to this group. But I really want to make sure I hit these resolutions and give myself the ability to add other goals without being stressed. If I said, looking back down at all these goals, instead of everything I said, I want to sell 10,000 books in 1 month. I want to hit 100,000 YouTube subs. I want to hit 10,000 for all my other podcast channels. I want to write my 500th book, which I'm not including no content publishing because that's actually a way to like very easily hit that goal in a year. Host at least 12 virtual summits, like the monthly, sort of like what I was talking about before. Hit 12,000 members at Breakthrough Success, and then like just qualify for every marathon that I could think about qualifying for. Then it's like you have no room to add extra goals. If you feel overwhelmed about all of these by the end of January, which you probably will if you set goals like that high, and you immediately start to fall back to like, oh, instead of 100,000 YouTube subscribers, let me just do 50,000. And even that's a big win. The problem, if you fall back and you get used to falling back, the fallbacks just keep happening. So it's better to set like, you know, 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2020 instead of like starting at 100,000 subscribers, going down to 50, going down to 25, then lowering your goal to 10, still not hitting it, and then like lowering your goal even more. So at that point, you're just lowering the bar instead of if you have the smaller goal and you hit it, and then it's like, oh, I hit this goal, let me raise my bar here, then raise it here. That's a much different scenario that leads to a higher likelihood of you accomplishing your goals for 2020 and beyond. So in that event, I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button because, you know, we're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers for this channel by the end of 2020. So in any event, what I want you guys to do is to dream big, achieve greatness, and unlock your potential today.